We actually start off with our conversation for the day, and this has to do with something that has affected most since the electioneering period ended. And even before that, we're talking about a shrinking job market vis-a-vis an enlarged workforce. Well, we are joined in studio by HR practitioner Jackie Ogonji to give us more insight on the same and how you can deal with the same and how to reinvent yourself in such circumstances. Now, to start with, the electioneering period, the ripple effects are immense, and one of them are the job losses that we are seeing in the job market. Give us some of the statistics.
You find that in the last year, that is starting from 2016, because people had to prepare for the elections. So 2016, 2017, we had more than 10,000 jobs that were lost. And these are reports that we have actually been reading through what Federation of Kenyan Employers are talking about. The UN under the Human Development Index actually indicated that last year, our unemployment rate in Kenya went up from 22% in the previous years to 39.1%, being the highest in the 4 different countries that are around us: Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda. So that means that, yes, there's a problem, and the election period actually just made it, brought up a lot of things. We had things like products boycotts, and of course the economy was affected by the stock exchange also. We lost about 230 billion. We had things like loans. The repayment of loans was a problem. So you find things like vehicles. A lot of vehicles were auctioned, quite a number. So there was no money in the market. What affects this mostly is that, yes, there are people who buy. There are so many SMEs that are coming into play. So when we talk about even auctioneering of vehicles, for me, I'm looking at how many people are in the SME sector. Sadly, apparently about 2.2 million SMEs in the last 5 years have actually dropped off. And this is a very crucial research that was done, and the information it gives us tells us that, of course, we cannot get a lot of formal employment, but SME is a sort of formal employment. But if we are having most of them coming down and going down, and they are not really helping us to get more jobs, then there's a problem, because the normal blue chip companies, multinationals, are not able to. The industries that were hit the largest were the media, and of course, Nation was part of this. We also have Royal Media. Then we had the manufacturing, Nestle. We have Samia actually, and Eveready had also had to lay off. We have Coca-Cola and quite a number. The banking sector, of course, has been hit greatly. We have had some banks come down. We have had a lot of jobs that have also been lost, and this is because of introduction of things like internet banking, technology, mobile banking, and closure of very many branches. Bank of Africa, for example, had actually closed down 12 branches. So this then is a lot of job loss. The most important thing is, how do we pick up and move on? And
exactly, that's where we're heading with this conversation. So the layoffs have happened, some are still coming. As an employee, first of all, how do you deal with that news?
So we need to do a research and understand what's going on in our environment. It's pretty much important. Layoffs are things that are anticipated. They're things that are planned. The organization would communicate, and there are signs in the internal organization that we can look out to, so that we are able to identify that something is really going to happen. So we need to look out and understand that this is the business. We are seeing that there are certain steps that are being taken, and these steps will affect us. Now, we need to understand that anybody can actually be laid off, and it doesn't necessarily mean that even the senior people would. Sometimes our own bosses might find it a bit difficult telling you this in advance, because maybe it's in the planning stages. There are things that need to be approved by board and all that. But the signs are things that employees can see. So you need to identify what are these signs and understand what is happening, and read and know that something is coming. Now, once you realize this, then you need to work on your skills. You need to be able to look out, what is it that I have that is niche, what is unique, what is my value proposition, and start building on that. When you build on that, you're now looking for jobs, you're job hunting. And so you look at the different availabilities that are there, their recruitment agencies, your networking circles, very, very important. And sometimes when we're on our jobs, we forget to network. We are invited for all the seminars and conferences. We do not want to go. But when we get to these seminars and conferences and the coffee meetings, we actually are able to showcase what we have, and somebody can remember. So you can actually use your networking groups and circles to ensure that when you need them, they can be able to refer you. Referrals, where have you worked, your friends? Is your job something that people can refer? Do they know you? So these are the different channels that you can actually use to get yourself out there. There's something that would be controversial, but it's important, your side hustles. Everybody has a side hustle, and this is because your side hustle is something that you do out of maybe passion. A lot of us have gotten into jobs that are jobs we applied for and we got because we needed a job. But on the side, there's something that you're doing. Most importantly, it should not conflict with the interest of the company's business where you're working. Once that is very clear, then you can always work on your side hustles. Now, your side hustles can come forth for you on a rainy day. And it actually can be that job that is generating income for you when you lose your job. So as you are working, you need to identify what are the things you can do that will not conflict with the business of your organization. But it's pretty much important that the side hustles are there in this economy that we have right now. What else can we factor in when we are thinking about how can I face layoffs? Savings. People are not very disciplined to save. And this is one of the most important things that you need to do while you're working or earning an income. I have met people who are very disciplined, that they say anything that they get, they actually save 10%. That's good practice because you have an income that you're sure of. So if you save 10%, then this can be able to help you, right? And if it is savings of everything that you get, then it's very important that however little it is, you need to think of a rainy day. Very, very, very important. Finally, I would say people don't work on their profiles. And a lot of times we want to copy-paste somebody else. We want to bring on board a lot of things that we have seen and we think that they can work. For you to stand out, for you to be seen, for you to be identified, you actually need to be unique. There's authenticity that needs to come out from you. So I think my advice would be, please do not copy-paste anything. Just be true to yourself, be honest. Put your achievements, what you have done, sell yourself on paper because that's the CV. It's actually selling your skills and experience. Sell it right, be honest, and be authentic.
Okay, now while we're still on the matter, what are the common mistakes do we make when you're writing that CV shortly, and common mistakes made during interviews? Because all these are opportunities for you to stand out from the crowd.
In our CV writing, first we need to understand what's a CV. A CV is a brief of your skills and experience. So we want to look at your skills and experience, and your skills you've acquired through education, and your experience is where you have worked. Young people who are greatly affected, there are no jobs, and the entry-level jobs are sort of being phased away because almost all job applications that you see out there need 5 years experience and 10 years experience. I have always encouraged the young people to use all available channels to have some work experience, and this involves voluntary work. Just being able to walk into any organization and just saying, I can work for free during this period so that I can acquire more skills. And volunteering in other projects so that you can be able not to have that gap of unemployment and look for something that you can do in relevance to your skills. So the experience is very important. Now, sometimes we have very flashy, nicely done CVs. My advice is please avoid being a bit too fancy and having very many things that may not be necessary because you do not know who is actually reviewing it and what's important to them. Make it simple, very simple, and brief. A very long CV is also sometimes too much to read. You need to sell your CV in 2 minutes, and that person should think about shortlisting you or not. Other common mistakes that we make, sometimes you use very complicated words that whoever who is going to go through exactly your duties is not able to understand. A lot of CVs, most of the time, are copy-pasted job descriptions from either the internet or somewhere else, and that's why I say being authentic is very, very important. Grammatic errors. People have a lot of grammatic errors, and they do not go through their CVs just to be able to look at all the spellings and reread your sentences to ensure that it's making sense. And then personal details, you forget to update your records, or you forget to update your referees or their contacts. So your potential employer should be able to get in touch with you when they really need to. So you have to ensure that you keep updating your records.
So you have gotten the CV through, you caught their attention, you are at an interview. Common mistakes?
Yes.
Common mistakes made during interviews?
Dress code. I have seen people not take dress code as a very serious requirement in an interview. The first 5 seconds that you walk into any place and the attention is you, people have a perception of who you are. So if you're sharp and smart, then they really want to now listen to you. But if you just come looking normal and there's nothing really interesting about you, the way you look before you speak, then you might give people the perception of not listening or not being interested to get more about you. Yet, what they need to get out of you in the interview is the most important thing. So your presentation is very important. Look sharp, smart, and then now go to communication. How do you communicate? Are you audible? Are you answering the questions? Are you articulating? And that is because you must have thought through this interview the previous day and done your research, understood what the role is, so that you're not going to think about the answers and pass quite a number. So you need to research about the organization, because one of the things that you will look for in interviews is what is your market knowledge in the industry that the company is in? What is your organizational knowledge? What do you know about them? What's their vision? What's their mission? What are their values? Why are you coming there? So are your values, your vision, your mission aligned to the company's? Good case example, you want to be a CEO in the next 2 years. And this company is actually looking for perhaps an accountant, not a senior level, not an FM. So when you look at how many years of experience you need to get there, some of these questions around what they'll ask you, are you going to answer them like a CEO? Because that's where you want to be in the next. Do you know this company? Do you understand what they do? What is your value? What are you bringing on board? Unique value proposition. There has to be something unique about you that all the other candidates that are going to walk in are not going to perhaps say the same thing like you. So it can be a very simple thing, like I have actually been able to achieve up to a certain level in all my jobs and in all the places that I have been employed at. And I'm trying to understand, are you somebody who does your tasks from start to end to get the achievements? And your achievements need to be very clear. Are you an organizational fit? Are you the culture fit? This is how we do things here. How do you do things? So are you very strong to elaborate what you are bringing on board in terms of what you're going to do? And can we fit that within the organization? So you need to ask a few people, maybe, how does your company work before you go for the interview? What are your achievements? Very, very important. What initiatives have you taken? Did you just find this form here as it is, and you have left it as it is as you are leaving? What initiatives or projects have you worked with in the organization? Have you been part of a projects team? What are your achievements in every role that you have taken and in every employer that you have worked with? This is able to give people a story about your tasks, so that the panelists can be able to put a story to the task, and it's a much more interesting. And then your reference, very important. Just ensure that your reference are people who can refer you professionally.
Okay, now, Jackie, before I let you go, a quick one. The layoff has happened. You have gotten your letter. Decorum, how do you handle it within the office setting before you leave?
Now, it's a shocker. There are companies that would prepare you in advance, which is always the good practice. It's good to inform people in good time, because people take in things differently. What if that doesn't happen? First, go through what you have been given. Read it. Try and calm yourself down. I'd say do not respond same day. Just have some respect for your company and ask for perhaps time off just to go and think through it. This will enable you not to display a lot of behavioral a lot of behavior that you would have that would make you react out of emotional disturbance that you have been given. So you may have to you may have to take measures like take time off, and you request it. Remember, these are the people who you will need for your recommendation, background checks, and referrals. So taking time off is one of the most important things. Go and discuss that with people who you feel that they give you value. So you can discuss with your coach, mentor, your friends, people in different industries, because how you react again also, as you speak to them, they should be able to determine whether this is somebody that I can refer or not. So calm yourself down, do not respond that day, take time off, talk to people who can assist you and understand, and then you can now, after some time, start planning for your next level, which is developing your profile and looking for the different avenues to get another job. It doesn't just end there. And what people need to understand is problems are there, so we need to resolve them. Customers are there, they need to be satisfied. Jobs will always be there. So the most important thing is how you stand out. And this is how you carry your interviews, your CV, yourself, your employers, and your friends, so that they can refer you.
Personal branding.
Personal branding, pretty much important. Okay. How do you look? How do you talk to people?
Yes.
What else do you do out there? So you need to ensure that you have a personal brand that displays who exactly you are. Very, very important. Young people may want to dress now, but I tell people dress for who you want to be, because that is your personal brand. Communicate who you want to be and how you want people to see you, and present yourself in that manner. There's a lot of good things out there if you're able to actually brand yourself as the person you want to be, other than who you are now.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you so much. Short and sweet, precise to what is happening in the current job market right now. A shrinking market, but a growing workforce. How do you make sure you reinvent yourself to stand out and, of course, survive the hard times?